Hey guys, it's Ryan here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing another comic book review kind of conversation thing where we look at the new Red Sonja series. Now, if you guys have been following my channel, you kind of know that I enjoy the concept of Red Sonja, but quite a few series related to Red Sonja have not really been that great, and I think it's because they don't really feel like they end up going anywhere. At least the last one that I read, Unbreakable Red Sonja, didn't really feel like it went anywhere, which is kind of weird because Jim Zub wrote that, and that's the same guy that's doing the Conan stuff right now. And I don't know what happened. I don't know why that Red Sonja story felt so unnecessary or felt so like it didn't go anywhere. Like the things that were being set up weren't actually leading to something interesting, as opposed to how I felt about the Conan series, which is there's so much potential here. There's so many ways to go. I'm very excited to see where they go. And I also know that that story is going to go somewhere because it's already been stated that there are going to be mini arcs that kind of tell you, portions of the story. So I don't know. But yeah, Red Sonja is a very interesting character. It's a character that I really like in concept, but I haven't really found too many stories that I like about her. However, I do have a bunch of them because I do have the Red Sonja Humble Bundle that was sold last month, and that means I have a shit ton of Red Sonja stories. So yeah, today we're going to be looking at the new Red Sonja series to celebrate the 50th anniversary, and we have the Free Comic Book Day issue, which honestly, this cover doesn't really make this book feel great. When I initially got it, I didn't care. I just picked it up because I wanted to see where it was going to go. But now that I'm looking at it, this is not a great cover. I don't really like how this looks. The way that it makes Sonja look like this really kind of misshapen kind of person is really odd. And issue number 1, which is a really great cover, although I would have really liked to see Lucio Perillo's covers be like the main cover for all of the new Red Sonja stuff, but that would be pretty difficult to do for an ongoing series, so I kind of understand it not being there, right? But yeah, this is written by Torun Grönbeck. It's drawn by Walter Giovanni. I follow him on Twitter, and he's a really nice guy, and he draws really cool stuff. And then the colors here are by Omi Remalte Jr., who I think I've seen recently. I think it was in one of the Frank Frazetta Tales of Science Fantasy that I saw this name, but I could be wrong. And the lettering is by Simon Boland. And nothing much to say about the lettering. It's good. It works well. Nothing negative to say about that. All the letters look good. The colors are also pretty great. The story here is pretty great. And the art is also pretty phenomenal. So, yeah. Now, issue 0 opens up on this place called Madaurus, or Madeiras, I don't know, in Aquilonia. And there's this basically full narration. Like, the whole story, the important bits are the narration that's going on here. So it introduces this concept that there's this thing that's watching, and then it talks about if God can't help you, maybe the devil will, and it leads into introducing Red Sonja as she's kind of gallivanting around looking for this woman at the city. She eventually finds herself in a tavern. She finds the woman, she meets with the woman, and then she shows the woman this special stone. And it turns out this stone is cursed in some way. Not really sure how. It's not really explained because I'm pretty sure that's kind of the main plot line here. And then the woman is suddenly killed. And I don't remember exactly how she was killed, but it is in such a way that it looks like Sonja killed her in the tavern. And so Sonja is blamed, and now she must flee the city, and death follows wherever Red Sonja is going in this case. Okay, and then that leads straight into issue 1, where we start at the Westfold in the Border Kingdoms, and this actually starts 6 weeks before the current moment of the story, which should be right after issue 0. And then we see that the king of this kingdom of Westfold has died recently. The priest goes looking for the prince, who's just a baby, and he sacrifices him because he is the first child born after the king's death. He also happens to be his heir, and so removing him allows the priest to become the ruler of this kingdom, but also makes it so that the kingdom maintains itself afloat thanks to godly intervention here because they are happy with the sacrifice. And so this works out pretty well. we go back to Sonja, who's still fleeing from Madeiros, or Madeiros, or whatever the place is called. And something watches her nebulously. We don't know from where or how, but I'm guessing it's from the stone. And it watches her as she kind of dispatches the soldiers. And it kind of seems to enjoy her kind of directness more so than the kind of squabbling, kind of like unsure nature of the other humans around her. It kind of muses over human existence and how nebulous it is and how full of discomfort and weirdness it is. And then it loses the ability to look into her, look through her, look for her when she crosses into the Holy Land of this church area, right? This monastery. She shows up, she asks to meet with the bishop, and she's escorted in, no problems. But that's because they think that she's a wench instead of you know, a mercenary or whatever it is that Sonja classifies herself as. And she enters unabated. No one tells her anything. And then when the bishop shows up, he's surprised and kind of unhappy to see her because she is currently facing problems, of course. She tells her, or she tells him her tale, and gets his help due to the fact that he owes her something from a previous situation. I don't know the history of these characters. I don't know if that's necessarily important, but there's no mention of why these characters know each other, so I don't think it's meaningful. I think it's a recent addition. So she gets her favor called in, and then she leaves. And then we get back to Westfold, where the priest is ruling now, and he's working the people up. He's kind of getting them into this fever pitch so that they can go on this kind of almost holy war in order to expand their kingdom, in order to expand their power. And it's kind of dangerous, and it's kind of interesting how that's happening. Then we see Sonja arrive at a new tavern. She talks to this guy, this boy that's trying to pull the moves on her. And then suddenly everyone seems to gain this green aura around them, and they start attacking her. And so more issues happen here. And again, this seems to be connected to the stone, and that's where the story ends. And so it's a pretty good start to the story. You don't necessarily need the 0 issue, but if you can get your hands on it in some way, I definitely recommend you do. It kind of does add a little bit of value to the story, but it is not essential. But I quite like both of them, although the cover for this really should have been better, but it is a free issue. I guess they don't make too much money off of it beyond the fact that the comic book stores have to buy it in order to be able to have a free comic book day. So maybe they just didn't feel like adding in too much money to that cover, right? But it is what it is. Generally, I enjoy this. I liked it. I thought it was fun. I don't really care too much about the Westfold plotline so far, but I'm guessing that it's going to become relatively important later on, and so that's why it's being built up. Of course, ultimately, these stories are probably going to be kind of story arcs, and those story arcs are going to be much better read, you know, altogether binge read in a trade format. So I'm going to withhold my judgment for this to a pretty minimal kind of level, because I always know that when I read this back, when I binge read it, it's going to be much more enjoyable to read, right? So, yeah, overall, I liked it. I think you guys should check it out, but it is not necessarily the best. If you have money for only one sword and sorcery type title, I recommend Conan, or go and get the back issues for Barbaric, because those are significantly higher quality, I would say, than Red Sonja, but this was still good. So yeah, there you go. Those are my thoughts on this story. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down below, and thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later.